10:02 on the fan. What's going on? This is the Tiki and Tierney Show. It's a huge football Friday. Those Patriots, those pathetic losers, get lost. Forced to watch those scrubs for a couple of hours. If you could find the game. And if you found the game, I mean, could Al Michaels be any less interested? That's a rough watch.
Yeah.
Teak, what's happening,
Yeah, we'll
dude?
get to that in a little bit. BT, when you have a kid that plays football at let's call it a smaller school, like Western Kentucky, like Mike White did, and he throws for 3,700 yards and like 37 touchdowns, whatever the heck it is. He comes in to the league, even though he's a low draft pick, with a ton of confidence. Like, he's very assured of himself. And as I think about this Jets team as it's going forward now, obviously they got the Minnesota Vikings this weekend. If Mike White keeps playing the way that he is, Mike White is the quarterback of right now. I mean, for right now, for the rest of the season.
Okay.
And he might be the quarterback of the future. And what I'm saying here is I think that Mike White has a chance to do something that very rarely happens. We saw it with, obviously, Tom Brady. We saw it with, some other Russell Wilson was this way.
Yep.
He has a chance to usurp a starting quarterback and Zach Wilson, who was the number 2 overall pick. And because the last thing that the Jets need is a quarterback controversy any point this season. So Mike White's my guy for the rest of the season.
The rest of the season?
The rest of this season.
The rest of the season, no matter what?
No matter what.
Wow.
Because I
can't sign that.
I don't know how you're fixing Zach Wilson, all the fundamental things, and we'll get to that in a second. But this is about Mike White. Mike White was a stud in college, and I know it was a smaller school, Western Kentucky. Wasn't like who the hell saw
the
Western
Hilltoppers?
I'm not even worried about it, but he had great success.
Yes.
When he was there. I'm just pulling up his stats now. 4,300 yards passing. 4,300 yards passing. 37 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. That's prolific.
It's very good,
right? And you develop a confidence in yourself. It's why when you hear the Jets talk about Mike White, they're like, yeah, that's Mike effing White, right? There's a reason that he comes off that way. It's because he has this assuredness about him. Now, Zach Wilson has this as well, but Zach Wilson hasn't proven that he can do it on a professional level, whereas Mike White has. There's been multiple games from Cincinnati last year to the beginning of the Indy game. Obviously, he got bludgeoned by the Bills, the Bills last season, but that's notwithstanding. Chicago, he comes out his first step on the football field this season, he beasted against the Bears. Now, he's supposed to, but he beasted against the Bears. There is a confidence about Mike White. There's a reality about Mike White that if he plays these next couple of games to a high level, he's their guy all year, and he might be their guy going into next year. And Zach Wilson's going to have to earn it back in the offseason. Stop talking about him needing to play.
First of all, how do you earn it back in the offseason? By lifting more weight?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I appreciate the strong take.
That's not the problem.
All right. No, I agree with that. I'm being
for
facetious.
Next
I'm with
year.
you on that. Let me just backtrack for one second. I mean, you hit me with something heavy out of the shoe. I want to make sure there's no misinterpretation.
I just go dig into who guys were when they were young, when they were younger. And when he was at Western Kentucky, obviously transferred from South Florida.
Yeah.
It goes to Western Kentucky, doesn't play because that's the old transfer rules. His first year playing at Western Kentucky, 4,363 yards, 10.5 yards per attempt, 37 touchdowns, and he followed it up with a 4,100-yard season with 26 touchdowns.
I got you. The guy was a terrific player.
He was a stud.
Understood. Nobody's debating that.
So he believes in himself.
Okay.
And I think that confidence, as well as the acumen to actually do it, as we've seen multiple times now with him as the starter, is it belies the draft grade. It belies the draft position.
I could get behind that as well. All right, but I got to back it up 2 steps here. So I want to make sure there's nothing fuzzy about this. I mean, you hit me with a lot there. You have a little extra coffee today?
Yeah,
Tiki's fired up. I love it.
Actually, I made the coffee
This
myself,
is awesome.
and I think I made it really strong.
Would you put cocaine in the coffee? All right, so you did? Now, here's the question.
Wait, Hawk, go give me a cup.
Did you just say, no matter what, Mike White is the starting quarterback for the rest of the season?
Mike White is the starting quarterback for the rest of the season.
I can't get behind that.
Why?
As much, and that's the crazy. I want to.
You want a quarterback controversy instead?
No. I want the best quarterback to play.
Yes.
And I think
Mike White is the best quarterback.
Right now he is.
Okay. He's played one game.
I understand that. What happens? See, it's it's too long of a leash here. I don't like the week-to-week problem. I'm kind of splitting hairs. I'm stopping way short of where you're going, though.
Okay.
He gets the Vikings game, obviously. I wouldn't even dress Zach this game. The next game against Buffalo, if Zach has shown whatever he's got to show behind the scenes, getting these extra reps, then I elevate Zach to number 2. And I wouldn't pull Mike against the Bills if he plays poorly. But if he comes out and he throws two duds up on the board, you cannot convince me that Zach Wilson's not getting back on the football field. And I got to tell you this, on a deeper level, I think, and I'm serious, I think from the quarterback position, this is the most interesting game I'm not going to say Jets history, in a long, long time. But I'll tell you why at the quarterback position. Jets, despite all their deficient implosions at the quarterback position, they've only drafted 6 guys in the first round in 54 years. Well, maybe that's how you rectify the quarterback issue. Draft a few more guys in the first round, but they haven't done that. Anyway, 54 years, 6 draft choices. Richard Todd in 76, Kenny O'Brien, Chad Pennington, Mark Sanchez, Sam Darnold, and of course now with Zach Wilson. So it's so rare that they attach that kind of draft equity to that position. They've done it here with Zach Wilson. It's also incredibly rare that a year and a half in, that asset is already been benched, number 2. And I know Pat Ryan was decent, but the Mike White possibility makes this an incredibly pivotal, interesting. I agree. You run with it. You run with it. You do. I agree. You run with it. But you don't keep running if the ground is broken. He's playing on Sunday. I hope he kicks ass. I hope we don't see Zach for a while. I really hope that. Hell, I hope we don't see Zach the rest of the season. I do. But there is no way Mike White is playing quarterback for this team with no, net underneath him if he does not play well for a couple games.
And that's not what I'm. That's
You
not.
just said he's the quarterback for the rest of the season.
He is the
implying
quarterback.
that if there's ups and downs, no matter what he's playing.
There's 2 reasons why. First of all, I don't know, and I have yet to hear someone ask Robert Saleh or Mike LaFleur, how are you fixing these fundamental problems of Zach Wilson? Right, the reset that needs to. How is this occurring? Because I know, because I was in it for a decade, you don't just fix a guy middle of the season. Right? Hey, you know what? Let's go work on your fundamentals, 2 hours after everybody else is out of practice and gone home. Like, when are you doing this? Right? You got to prepare for Minnesota and the week after that and the week after that. And who's doing this for Zach Wilson? So I don't think Zach is getting repaired the way that everybody thinks he needs to be repaired. It's kind of this. They make it sound simple. Like Robert Saleh made it sound simple, and I don't think it's simple. That's number 1. Number 2, and this is probably more important, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none, right? If you have half the locker room.
Unless you have Joe Montana and Steve Young.
Yes, that's true.
Then you're okay.
That's true. Because regardless who plays, you're going to be fine. But if you have 2 guys, and it's kind of debatable which one the guys want in the locker room, you got a divided locker room. And all you got this little bickering and nonsense and chirping happening and
you got the locker room lawyers
in corners and in the steam room and in the hot box. Like, dude, why the hell is Mike White still playing? Oh, why the hell why we want Zach? Right? It just becomes like this anarchy that happens inside of a lot. You cannot have that because it disrupts cohesiveness.
But you would only have that if you sat down Mike White if he's playing very well, and I'm not saying that at all. If Mike White plays well, Mike White plays. And by the way, even if Mike White doesn't play well this week, I'm going to roll him back out there. What I can't have myself is Mike White go out play.
But you got to commit to him.
No, I'm not. I can't. I'm committing to him for a couple of weeks. But if he puts up back-to-back bad games, I'm going back to Zach.
First of all, I don't think that's happening.
And by the way, so are the Jets. So independent of what I'm saying, the Jets are thinking that.
You're going to go back to Zach Wilson, and what's going to happen?
I don't know. Hopefully he plays well. By the way, he won a lot of games when he was playing quarterback before.
He won some games, but did he play well?
No, he didn't play particularly well. I'm not here to reinvent
you're going to go back to Zach Wilson and have the exact same situation that we had before.
Well, then he's utterly hopeless. If that's the case, just cut him.
Utterly hopeless. I think he's got to get fixed, and it's not going to happen in the middle of the season.
I don't know that. You don't know that. And you don't know that Mike White's going to continue to play very well. Neither do I.
I know that Mike White looked great against
And
Chicago.
I know that he looked
It was
awful
Chicago.
against the Bills last year. And I know
And
that there were circumstances.
The Bills had the number one defense
I
in football last year
understand
at that point. They got destroyed. And by the way, it was his fault, but it wasn't all his fault.
And here's the other thing, Teague. Listen, I am on board the Mike White train. Check out my instant reaction for last week. I was one of the first to say it. Mike White's quarterbacking for a while. I don't want to argue against myself. I think although I've been known to do that on occasion. I think those are the only debates I win.
What the hell is wrong with you, myself?
Well, if I debate myself, I'm going to win. One of us is going to win. It's going to be me. I like those debates. No, but like after the game, I said, hey, Mike White's the quarterback for a long time. And I stand by that. But it can't be an endless rope. Mm-hmm. I think that, listen, the guys in the locker room know that while it shouldn't define everything, draft status still matters. And as long as Zach is saying the right things and now eventually doing the right things, coinciding with a precipitous, I'm going to use that word, not a little slight downturn, precipitous downturn for Mike White, eventually Zach's going to get the ball back, and I'm okay with that.
Mike White started 4 games in his NFL career. 4 games.
And 2 have been the best ever in the history of the Jets.
That's right.
I know.
4 games.
Yeah.
He's going to have a game where he looks like you know what.
I understand
It's going to happen.
I get
There's no
that.
way you're putting him on the bench.
What if he has 2 in a row? If he has 2 bad, answer me directly, 2 bad ones in a row, he's playing against Detroit?
Yeah.
See, no, I disagree with that.
I think yes.
Okay.
I think yes.
I got you. 877-337-6666 is our number. Tiki and Tierney on the fan. This Football Friday is going to be first of all, these games mean everything. This is the season right here. Both teams.
For both teams.
Both teams.
Especially the Giants.
Oh, my God.
Because the Giants, unfortunately, have the Eagles and then the Commanders again. Whereas
doesn't matter.
The
win.
The Commanders
it's in front of you.
Has a bye week and then the Giants again.
Win the games inside of our Town Fair Tire studio.